Hey guys, I'm Alex Pierce, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a brand new workflow from Simplates and Assimilate Live FX. Simplates themselves are rendered from Octane render engine, so this is not a real-time game engine. It's a real, very mature, path-traced, unbiased, spectrally correct render engine. And on top of that, we use the Render Network, which is a cloud rendering service from Otoy that allows us to render these crazy resolutions. This one's, for instance, 12K on a single machine. This would probably take 3 weeks to render. I can render this in a day, in a few hours. And I can download all the frames with all the deep render layers and AOVs and everything that was really important for advanced compositing. And I use all those to composite in Assimilate Live FX to get what we see here. But the thing that's really exciting is I've basically taken all of these advanced compositing techniques and tools and I've brought them to the stage. So now we can do live compositing on the stage with 12K and all of our render passes. And this is a huge deal. This is very, very important. And it's really a whole new way of working with 360 footage, with Simplates, with driving footage. And I think it's actually going to unlock a lot of doors for a lot of filmmakers and potentially a lot of studios and stages. I think it's extremely powerful. You'll have to just see what I'm talking about for it to make sense. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first, we'll just use this as the example. This is fully 360 content, which means that I can pan around all the way. If we had wild walls in a ceiling, we'd automatically get a full wraparound, full 360 image here. And all of our Simplates are 360. All of them are mastered at 16K, and these are all 12K notch is what we're delivering most of our stuff. So all of our Simplates have different time day elements. So for instance, that same plate that was daylight is now sunset. That same plate is also nighttime. But what is unique about this, and the reason I'm really excited, I'm trying to hold back my excitement, I don't know if you can tell, is that I'm actually live compositing. Before I mention that, our plates do loop completely. And this particular plate doesn't, you'll see a jump, because if you look at the sky, the clouds are actually animated. And all I'm doing there, and I'm doing this live, is I'm rotating the panorama. So basically, this clip is actually several different layers. So there's the desert layer with an alpha channel and the sky layer. And then I'm also taking the sky color. So for instance, this is what the sky looked like. And then I'm going to live grade it here. In fact, I'll just go ahead and grade it here. Let me make this a little bit more pink and bring it down. Actually, the brightness is probably okay. And then same with the sunset plate. I'm going to reset the color options here. So this is what the plate looked like before color. Now that I add the sky, I want to grade it, right? I know you can't really see my screen, but I can easily change the color using real color wheels. So I can try to match the sky, for instance, and I can come down in intensity. I can bring the shadows down more blue if I wanted to. And yeah, I have lots of tools here. Hues versus saturation. So if I want to just take the road and desaturate the road or the pinks or the sand. So here I'm desaturating all the yellows and the reds. So now we get more of a desaturated look. So I have all those, I'm doing all this live. I'm doing all the color work, compositing several layers of 12K notch LC live, no problem. So now if I go into our night scene, this one is actually made up of several different layers as well. So I'm going to go into our layer stack here, and let me turn off the sky. Let me turn off the headlights, and let me reset our color. So the plate that I rendered out of Octane render engine, the ambient light pass looks like this. The environment with no color information that I chose that I liked looks like this. And the headlights, in fact, let me just solo the headlights. This is what the headlights look like. And let me bring up the brightness so you can see. The headlight pass, this pass is actually how the headlights are actually physically lighting the scene. And so it's not just, we can literally change the way it's lit, right? So if we want the headlights to be brighter or we want to turn them off, it affects the environment as well. And I'm kind of exaggerating it here, but you can see it's adding a lot or taking away a lot. So now I'm going to go ahead and live grade this. So let's add in the environment. Obviously our sky should probably look more, let me reset that. So our sky, I'm going to make it more blue. I'm going to make it darker. Yeah, a little bit less green, somewhere in there. And then for our environment, I'm going to bring it way down. I'm going to also make this sort of blue. And then this is sort of a full moon look. But if I crush it down even more, then it's more of a new moon look. And I can also bring in a different sky if I want to have a different sky for this. And let me go ahead and let me rotate the sky as well. So maybe something, actually, let's see, somewhere in there. And you could probably tell we haven't dropped a single frame. It is running very smooth. It's really performant with all this. So, and then now that we've done that, let's go ahead and let's bring our headlights and let's make them a little brighter and let's make them a little bit, yeah, maybe like a little yellow, something like that, just a little bit. So let's look at a different example. So in this example, what I have set up here is to take out the palm trees. So this obviously looks like LA or Miami, and 3, 2, 1, I can take out that layer because I rendered those as separate layers. So this is the palm trees rendered as their own layer in Octane Render Engine. All the occlusion that you're seeing is other things cars coming in front of, and things that are affecting shadows, affecting it from buildings, etc. And that I can just turn on or off as needed. The end result, obviously, for the library, we have one that's with palm trees, we have one that's without palm trees. But if I'm in person, I could bring this Simplate server to a stage and we could do all these things live if we wanted to. In this example, what I'm showing here, and that's probably a little bright on that screen, that's okay. In fact, maybe I'll just let me expose down, let me stop down a little bit. There we go. So in this example, what I'm showing is I have the sunlight pass. And so what the sunlight pass does, if this is what the sunlight pass is. Actually, let me reset the color here as well. So the sunlight pass, this is the sunlight information only. If you look at the shadows, the really deep, the dark shadows, there's very little information there. And then I also have the ambient occlusion, or the ambient light pass. So this is just the ambient light. This has zero sun in it. And the reason I render those out is so that I can actually add it back in. Let me try that again. Let me start at 0. And now I can actually just add in the sunlight, and I can actually see how strong do I want to make this sunlight, how much do I want it to affect our scene. And the other cool thing is that we can make the sun, let's say we want to make it a little bit more even. So it's probably hard to tell on here, but I just color corrected the sun so it's a little bit less orange and more neutral white. And I could take the ambient light and I could make the ambient light more blue. And then I can add in our sky. Obviously, we should probably have our sky in before we make any color decisions. So I can actually swap out our sky for something totally different, overcast. And because I have the sunlight, I can actually just turn the sunlight off essentially, and then I have my ambient pass here, and then I can use my color tools to neutralize this. And so the sky, actually, let me take the sky down first as well. So the sky looks a little green, a little magenta. Where do I want it to look? Maybe something like that. And then maybe my ambient pass, let me actually desaturate it. I'll go all the way desaturated, and then I'll come back up. Because that's going to be a good way for us to do this. Yeah, somewhere in there. Actually, what I want to do is now just take my hue versus saturation and just desaturate the greens and the yellows a little bit, because those are the things that really stick out to me. Actually, that red is a little bit as well. But yeah, I think you could probably see that we can do all sorts of amazing things on the day. And here's another example. So this is the nighttime scene, and this one is even crazier, because this one I have the lamppost lighting information as one layer. I have the headlight lighting information as one layer. I have the ambient lighting as one layer, and I have, of course, the sky in the background. So I can layer these on, and then I can also, in the same way, I can take down the strength of the headlights or bring them up. Same with the street lamps and the headlights. I can sort of relight this scene however I want. So I can turn off the headlights, I can turn off the street lamps, and then the last one is similar, in a similar vein. We can do similar things with the headlights. This is a good example of what we can do with the lighting. So in this scene, we have the headlights, which, let me go ahead and reset these to be where they were when they came in. And because we have the headlight information, how it was rendered from the render engine, the render pass of the lights, we can layer that on top of our ambient occlusion. So this is our ambient occlusion, this is our headlights, and then we can use different blend modes. So for instance, we can use add, and then we can color these. So we can make this more orange, or whichever color we want to go for, more yellow, probably more yellow. There's another blend mode I like to use, exclusion, which it kind of has just a different effect, but then I can make it brighter and darker. I can add in an HDRI. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this around somewhere in there, and I probably want to bring down the intensity just a little bit of the sky. So I'm going to go here, bring the intensity down. And what I could do, again, I could show a similar, we could have a very moody and dark scene, maybe Children of the Corn here, very contrasty. And then at the same time, we could have a very, like a full moon kind of, oversaturate the blues, kind of do a day for night. And again, this camera is maybe not showing you the best. I'm not really spending a lot of time, spending any time on the camera. But you should hopefully be able to get the idea of just how insane and powerful this is. This is a new way of working. I really don't think anyone has done anything quite like this before, live at a stage. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this video. My mind is still racing in terms of how far we can push it and what we can do, and I have a lot of ideas of what we can do next and where we're going to go next. But yeah, I think if you're watching this, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts. But I think that this method of being able to use really high-end photoreal, path-traced quality renders, but also have all the render layers and composite them live, is something that is really powerful, and I think would be very useful for filmmakers. So make sure to stay in touch. Go to sim-plates.com to learn more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.